Good evening. You're now with me, Shoshma Cho for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. The Sarawak government reaffirms commitment to shaping a high-quality new generation as a key agenda in the state's development. And in the world news, Lebanon says Israeli strikes killed 33 people across the country, many of them civilians. We begin with this news. The Sarawak government has reaffirmed its commitment to shaping a high-quality new generation through training and education loan repayment incentives. Tupong Assemblyman Dato' Fazruddin Abdul Rahman said the 15.8 billion ringgit 2025 Sarawak budget will be effectively utilised to benefit the people of Sarawak.
Saya menyambut baik komitmen Kerajaan Sarawak untuk meneruskan bantuan pembayaran balik 30% pinjaman PT-PTN kepada pelajar Sarawak. Inisiatif ini sangat bermakna kepada graduan Sarawak kerana diskaun yang mereka perolehi ini terutamanya untuk golongan muda yang baru mula bekerja, dapatlah mereka menyelesaikan hutang dengan lebih cepat dan mengurangkan komitmen bulanan.
He said this during the debate on the Supply Bill 2025-2024 at the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly on Thursday. The Chief Political Secretary to the Sarawak Premier explained that this policy aligns with the federal government's initiatives to provide PT-PTN repayment relief to first-class graduates. In his speech, he also fully supported the 1,200 ringgit pocket money assistance for Sarawak students in universities and colleges to lighten the burden on both students and their parents. He further recognized training programs such as Santex and GATS that help shape a skilled and highly potential workforce. He concluded that these initiatives will help Sarawak achieve a level of development that meets the people's aspiration to become a prosperous and developed state by 2030.
Meanwhile, a long-term structure and tourism development plan for Lundu district is needed to realise the government's vision of making the area a tourism hub in Sarawak. Tanjung Datu Assemblyman Azizul Anwar Adnan said that the current but outdated tourism master plan was established 5 years ago for the period between 2014 and 2018.
The latest tourism master plan, which was done for Lundu, was created 5 years ago, which was from the year 2015 to 2018. And has been 6 years, and is in 2024. So I hope that the state government, through the Economic Planning Unit and other agencies who are involved, could create a new Lundu district structural and tourism master plan. I believe if this plan is complete, that we can properly locate our projects and as well as their sites to develop them in a more sustainable manner.
He said this during the debate on the Supply Bill 2025-2024 at the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly earlier today. He also stressed that Lundu district requires urban development projects to fuel its growth. This comes after the area's growing population has caused traffic congestion and unplanned housing. He also pointed out that areas near Batangkayan face a high risk of land erosion, which poses a threat to the safety of local residents. A joint study with the Department of Irrigation and Drainage found that relocation with compensation is a more cost-effective option than constructing a retaining wall.
Meanwhile, the process of awarding the Sabah Plan Borneo Expressway Phase 1B package project is done according to the stipulated procedure before the selected company is announced by the Ministry of Finance. Works Minister Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalingi said that although the Finance Ministry has absolute authority to select the company to implement the project, the Works Ministry, as the responsible ministry, has carried out a preliminary review and discussion with the Sabah Public Works Department JKR after receiving the list of companies brought by the department.
Kewangan dia berkuasa mutlak. Kita bila kita menerima daripada pihak JKR Sabah peringkat pertama datang ke KKR Kementerian Kerja Raya, kita semak semula dan kita ada pandangan, kita ada kuasa juga kat situ. Jadi yang berlaku kita hantar juga senarai yang selepas diperbincangkan dan dinilai di peringkat KKR kepada kepada Kementerian Kewangan. Jadi mereka memang ada kuasa lah untuk memikirkan siapa sepatutnya diberi tawaran ataupun diluluskan.
Welcome back. Several prominent companies from Peru have shown keen interest in Malaysia's capability to export products such as medical equipment and supplies, building materials related to steel and glass, as well as consumer goods to the country. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that a round-table meeting held in Lima early today provided Peruvian companies with detailed insights into Malaysia's policies, especially on topics such as energy transition, sustainability, and halal certification.
According to Anwar, the roundtable with industry and business leaders serve as a platform to present opportunities for trade and investment in Malaysia to South American companies. Elaborating further, Anwar said the discussions actively explored strategies to leverage the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP, given that both countries are members of this agreement, as well as potential collaboration in maritime logistics, including port management.
And now on to world affairs. Lebanon said Israeli strikes killed 33 people across the country on Tuesday, among them many who had been displaced by the intensified conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. The attacks targeted not only known Hezbollah strongholds, such as the southern suburbs of Beirut, but also civilian areas without Hezbollah presence. The Lebanese Health Ministry said a strike on a town in the Shuv region south of Beirut killed at least 15 people, revising a previous toll upwards from 12.
هذا ذكاء يعني إجرامي وعدو يعني أكثر من هيك ما فينا نقول أكثر من هيك أطفال يجي يشوفوا الأطفال هيدي أطفال ميتة مستشهدة هون.
The ministry added that 12 others were wounded in the strike. The official national news agency said the building had housed displaced people fleeing bombardment by Israel in its war against Hezbollah. The health ministry said a strike a few kilometers further north in the mountainous Ali region east of the capital also killed 8 people. A security source said the attack had hit a house where people displaced in the war had taken refuge. The ministry also reported 1 dead in an Israeli strike in the Tyre area in South Lebanon. Since September 23rd, Israel has stepped up its bombing campaign in Lebanon, mainly targeting Hezbollah strongholds in South Beirut and in the east and south of the country, and later invaded southern Lebanon on September 30th. More than 3,300 people have been killed in Lebanon since the Gaza genocide began last year, the majority of them since late September.
And Typhoon Usagi today slammed into the Philippines' already disaster-ravaged north as authorities rushed to evacuate thousands of people from coastal areas. The National Weather Service said Usagi made landfall in the town of Bagao in Cagayan province and with winds of 175 kilometers an hour, the fifth storm to strike the country in just 3 weeks. The brutal wave of weather disasters has already killed 159 people and prompted the United Nations to request $32.9 million in aid for the worst affected regions. National Weather Agency had initially raised its highest storm alert, but downgraded to its second highest as Usagi made landfall. It said the winds could cause considerable damage to structures of light materials, moderate damage even to structures otherwise considered low risk, and uproot large trees within the next 12 hours. The Philippines ordered evacuations Wednesday ahead of Typhoon Usagi's arrival, as the UN's disaster office sought $32.9 million in aid for the country after recent storms killed more than 150 people. Sri Lankans today were voting in snap parliamentary elections, with the new leftist President Anura Kumara Disanayake's party expected to secure a mandate to drive through economic reforms. The 55-year-old hopes to grab two-thirds of the legislature's 225 seats to press ahead with reforms after the country's economic meltdown 2 years ago, when then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was ousted.
Dissanayake took power after sweeping September elections on a promise to combat graft and recover the country's stolen assets. Disanayake's JVP, or the People's Liberation Front, is the main constituent of the National People's Power, or NPP, coalition of professionals seeking to form the next government. The NPP held just 3 seats in the outgoing assembly. Dissanayake had been an MP for nearly 25 years and was briefly an agriculture minister. But he has since distanced himself from traditional politicians accused of leading the country to its worst economic crisis in 2022. His JVP party led 2 insurrections in 1971 and 1987, leading to at least 80,000 deaths, but Dissanayake took power peacefully in elections on September 21st.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms at TV Sarawak. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shulshmato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.